The clash of swords rang out across the scorching battlefield as the banners of Christendom fluttered in the desert wind. Thousands of warriors, clad in gleaming armor, charged forward, their battle cries echoing through the hills of the Holy Land. But despite their fervor, the Second Crusade would be marked not by glorious victory, but by crushing defeat, internal strife, and a stark reminder that faith alone could not win wars. Unlike the triumphs of the First Crusade, this expedition would end in disaster, revealing the growing strength of Muslim forces and the weakness of divided European armies. Welcome to History in a Hurry. I'm Professor Malcolm Mazer, and in this episode we will learn about the Second Crusade. The Second Crusade was launched in response to the fall of the county of Edessa, the first and most vulnerable of the Crusader states established after the First Crusade. In 1144, the Muslim ruler Zengi of Mosul captured Edessa, shocking Christian leaders in Europe and threatening the stability of the remaining Crusader territories in the Levant. The loss of Edessa was a serious blow, as it demonstrated that the Crusader states were not invincible and could be reclaimed by Muslim forces. Alarmed by these events, Pope Eugenius III issued a call for a new crusade, urging European rulers to take up arms once more in defense of the Christian holdings in the East. This appeal was powerfully reinforced by Bernard of Clairvaux, a charismatic Cistercian monk who preached the crusade with fiery zeal. His passionate sermons stirred Christian Europe into action, convincing two of the most powerful monarchs of the time, King Louis VII of France and Emperor Conrad III of the Holy Roman Empire, to lead armies to the Holy Land. Unlike the First Crusade, which was largely composed of independent feudal lords and knights, the Second Crusade was led by kings, giving it a sense of royal authority and organization. However, this would not be enough to ensure success. The Crusader army set out in 1147, with Conrad's forces departing from Germany and Louis's army following from France. Both armies faced immense difficulties from the outset. Conrad's German forces suffered devastating losses as they marched through Anatolia, falling victim to Turkish ambushes and starvation. By the time Conrad reached Constantinople, his once mighty army had been reduced to a fraction of its original strength. Louis VII fared slightly better, but his forces also endured harsh conditions, and relations with the Byzantine Empire grew strained. Emperor Manuel Komnenos, wary of the Crusaders' intentions, provided limited support, fearing they might turn against Byzantium rather than focusing on their Muslim enemies. By early 1148, what remained of the Crusader armies arrived in the Holy Land, where they joined forces with the Kingdom of Jerusalem. However, the campaign lacked clear leadership and strategic objectives. Instead of focusing on recapturing Edessa, which had already been severely weakened, the Crusaders made the fateful decision to attack Damascus, a key Muslim stronghold that had previously maintained a fragile alliance with the Crusaders. This decision proved to be a catastrophic mistake. The Siege of Damascus in July 1148 was the defining moment of the Second Crusade and its ultimate downfall. The Crusader forces, numbering around 50,000, initially gained ground and laid siege to the city. However, the defenders of Damascus, led by the powerful Muslim ruler Nur ad-Din, mounted a fierce resistance. The Crusaders soon found themselves struggling to secure supplies, and their initial gains were quickly reversed. Internal disagreements among the Crusader leaders further weakened their position. Fearing a prolonged siege and a devastating counterattack, the Crusader commanders abruptly decided to retreat after only 4 days, a humiliating failure that shattered their credibility. The retreat from Damascus marked the end of the Second Crusade. Demoralized and divided, Louis VII and Conrad III returned to Europe, their reputations tarnished by the debacle. The failure of the crusade had significant consequences, not only for the Crusader states but also for Christian morale in Europe. It demonstrated that the Muslims, under leaders like Nur ad-Din, were becoming stronger and more united in their resistance. The Christian forces, by contrast, were plagued by poor leadership, strategic miscalculations, and a lack of unity. In the aftermath of the Second Crusade, the Muslim forces gained confidence, while the Crusader states remained vulnerable. Over the next few decades, Nur ad-Din and later Saladin would continue to expand Muslim control in the region, setting the stage for the eventual fall of Jerusalem in 1187. The Second Crusade had not only failed in its objective, but had also weakened the position of the Crusaders in the Holy Land, making future campaigns even more difficult. Despite its failure, the Second Crusade had a lasting impact on history. It reinforced the idea that crusading was not an unstoppable force, but a difficult and often futile endeavor. It also deepened tensions between Christian Europe and the Byzantine Empire, as many crusaders blamed the Byzantines for their lack of support. Furthermore, the campaign demonstrated the growing sophistication of Muslim military tactics and leadership, which would prove decisive in the later Crusades. The Second Crusade stands as a cautionary tale of overconfidence, poor planning, and the dangers of underestimating one's enemies. What began as a grand vision to reclaim lost Christian lands ended in bitter disappointment, proving that faith and zeal alone could not guarantee victory. The lessons of this failed crusade would shape the strategies and ambitions of future crusaders, but the road ahead would only grow more perilous as the balance of power continued to shift in favor of the Muslim world. Thanks for racing through history with us on History in a Hurry. If you enjoyed today's quick dive into the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a fast-paced trip through time. Please reply in the comments with ideas for our next history lesson. See you in the next one.